Hi guys, I hope you're doing well. Okay, so I was in the car coming to work, and my brother had on the radio, and there was a particular song playing randomly. I don't necessarily care for that type of music for the most part, but yeah, and there was some appreciation brought on by my brother and what he said about the music, and that's his preference, that's his taste. I can understand it. I can empathize and see where another person is coming from. But I had to say that that type of music, it definitely more so glorifies a certain lifestyle that more often than not is very detrimental to not only generations before, currently, and to come. And especially in my profession, where there is sometimes dealing with children, there is not a mature state where they can differentiate between reality, fantasy, and where they combine the two in certain respects. So what I was explaining to my brother, I said, listen, this is why, in my opinion, when it comes to exposure to certain subject matters, and let's just talk about music right now, certain music I don't think should necessarily be exposed, if possible, to certain age groups or maturity levels until they can fully make that distinction between reality and fantasy, and kind of like understanding one person's lifestyle and the message they may be bringing across of what they had to go through to get to where they are. But it doesn't have to be your life, but you can appreciate what, oh goodness, I'm near traffic and people just blazing their stuff. I don't understand that. That is just, why? Anyway, yeah, so, to make that distinction whereby you can appreciate the struggle that they went through, and it can give you certain levels of encouragement whereby, oh wow, they went through all of that in their lifestyle or whatever it is like that, and they came out ahead in these scenarios. They climbed over mountains, you know what I mean? And you can get some type of encouragement of that whereby, well, I don't have to go through what they went through, but the mere fact that they went through that and they were still successful would give me a bit of encouragement with my road, my path in life, and say that, okay, well, I don't have to deal with what they're dealing with. Perhaps I can do more. Perhaps I can make it more. You know what I mean? In certain respects, certain people, when they went through certain levels of pain and grief and turmoil and upheavals in their life, they paved the way for you to actually have the opportunity for it to be a bit easier for you moving forward in life. Not to say that the next generation's paths are easy per se. They all come with their own unique challenges and whatever have you. But what I'm saying is being mature enough to make that distinction whereby you don't have to take on the glorification or take on that person's life path, whereby a lot of kids, they can want to become their hero, want to become the emulation. So it's like they feel accomplished, or they feel like, they want to, get in trouble with the law or go to prison and get some type of pride aspect, some type of notoriety, and then reality, the maturity levels don't hit them until it's too late. And they realize that they're living someone else's life. They're living someone else's pathway, which have already been done. If anything, look at the music in such a way whereby it is giving you a warning. It's giving you an understanding of what they had to struggle through. So with a more mature mind, you would say, okay, they made this X, Y, and Z choice, or they were in this environment and they made these decisions, and this caused this, okay? That's their path. I can make my path better. I can choose to do different. I don't have to go through what they went through. I can appreciate that they went through a struggle and learn from it, but it does not have to be my story. I can think about a better way. You understand? So that's what I'm trying to bring across, because a lot of these kids and young adults in certain respects, sometimes they don't even realize what they're getting themselves into until it's too late, because they were emulating some type of ego-driven fantasy, emulating some type of glorified lifestyle which they think is like the bee's knees, as it were, or some type of great stuff, when quite honestly, they get to a point where they realize, it really isn't. It's not worth it. But you're too deep in certain respects, and it's like, it's hard to correct it, or it's hard to get out of it. And a lot of times it also stems from varying levels of lack in one's background, or the somewhat healthy connections that help stabilize one's development and growth, whether it be maybe a lack of love in the home, a lack of friendship, a lack of a motherly or fatherly figure, or there are things that internal in the human psyche, especially that kind of helps groom us and nurtures us and helps us to become who we truly are, helps to further develop our personal goals and aspirations. I understand, yes, there is lacks that cause that, and sometimes kids and stuff, they grasp at certain things, okay? But that's my point entirely, because there is a longing for growth, a longing to be accepted, and a longing to whatever it is. There's a developmental dynamic that's happening in children, especially teenagers in certain respects. I think parents or their guardians or whoever, even the teenagers themselves, maybe some teenagers are listening to this, you perhaps need to be a bit wary, parents, whatever, but a bit wary of what your child is exposed to at certain levels of their development. I'm not saying to completely shelter your child from various things, because it's life. It happens, in passing and stuff like that. And even when they're accidentally exposed to certain things, take a moment and, if it did create some type of, if your child was aware of it or something like that, take a moment to explain something more concrete and differentiate between the situation, reality, and fantasy and whatever. Just take that moment. If it didn't really affect them, if you didn't see anything happen, they probably didn't even notice it. No need to even address it in certain respects. Okay, but definitely take in stock your child's age, the maturity level, stuff like that, and consider what you may want to bring to their attention before the world brings it to their attention. Because if they're left sometimes to their own thought process, it could be skewed in certain respects because of lack of people with a bit more of a mature, empathetic distinction, where they can understand where a situation is coming from, but they can differentiate between one person's pathway and what they should be considering from that pathway and learning from that pathway. But that pathway does not have to become your own. It does not have to be their identity. They can make their own identity. You understand where I'm coming from? It's like when things in life happen, and you're exposed to it, you have to learn to deal between, okay, this is one type of reality. What am I going to learn and gain from this? Sometimes you could just enjoy the music if that's your thing, and enjoying the beats and whatever. I know that's understandable. But there is a clear distinction when someone's really becoming vested with the words that are being said in the music. Okay? Anyway, I could go on, but I think you get the point. It's just a bit of food for thought, as it were. I wish you all the best. Please remember to like, share, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon. feel free to become a Patreon member at patreon.com/Naveen Ferguson. Remember, I am doing personal readings, and you can also donate to the channel to assist its growth. All that information is in the description box below. I wish you all the best. Bye.